What's up, Beta Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. I'm your host here for Reed. As a part of today's video, we're diving into all of the latest news and highlights going on here in this ecosystem. First things first, I want to highlight IOG's stablecoin venture labeled XE and a brand new member who's been added to the team. Now he's also going to be coming from Algorand, which appears to be a theme with this ongoing venture. Second, I want to talk about USDM. We've officially broken over $10,000 being minted. Now keep in mind, this is just the very beginning. We still have businesses undergoing KYC and we're expecting much more liquidity to come online in the next few days. Third, I want to highlight Minswap, who has some ongoing proposals. Some of them have passed, some of them have failed. And I also want to highlight some partnerships with USDM. Now, after that, I want to talk about Eternl, which has just released a brand new version as well as a beta. And then last but not least, I want to end off by highlighting SmartPlaces with their upcoming SPX token launch in collaboration, utilizing the Minswap launch bowl for their liquidity bootstrapping event. As always, if it's your first time stopping by, my goal here is to provide you in the growing ecosystem with all of the latest news. And if you do appreciate that, I would appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. If you want more, consider subscribing to the channel. And last but not least, if you have any questions, then make sure to leave them down below. If you want to take things a step further, you can go ahead and delegate to the official Dapp Central stake pool, which is stake pool ticker DAPP, and you'll also be earning the Matera governance token in addition to your ADA up in epoch number 493, given the fact that the Dapp Central stake pool is an official partner for their ISPO. Jumping into the first piece of news, I want to quickly talk about the IOG stablecoin venture. This was announced around November following the Dubai summit, in which we saw a brand new team being forged with Sean Ford, the CEO, and David Markley, the COO. What's interesting is that both of these gentlemen have a lot of experience and a lot of background and exposure to the Algorand ecosystem. So it states here Sean has a deep expertise as a tech entrepreneur and an executive as his role at the founding team at Algorand. Now, with respect to David, it states here that he's a multifaceted product and operations leader, most recently leading Algorand's operation, venture, and business solutions team. Now, jumping into the new stuff, we've got Brandon Wolf, who's going to be coming on as their CTO or Chief Technical Officer. It states here that he's got experience again from Algorand, in addition to Napster, if you're familiar with that early music streaming service, which obviously isn't necessarily relevant nowadays, but it was back in the early 2000s. In addition, he's got some experience, I believe, with FIFA, for any of you soccer fans out there, as well as the collectleader.com entrepreneur platform. So I need to jump into that very last platform, not too familiar with that. However, I am familiar with Algorand, Napster, and FIFA. Now it states here that Brandon's professional versatility includes complex technical integrations and economic exchange in native blockchain ecosystems. So again, not necessarily just focusing on one type of stablecoin. We haven't actually gotten any sort of clarity surrounding how many types of stable assets this team will be focusing on. So that said, I will be sitting down here with the official XE team over the course of the next week. So if you have any questions for Brandon, Sean, or David, please let me know what they are down below. Again, I'm excited to have them on here to talk about the future of stablecoins, given the fact that we just saw the launch of USDM, a fiat-backed stablecoin here on the Cardano ecosystem. That will actually segue us straight into the second set of updates surrounding USDM. So as it stands right now, we have about 10,000 USDM or $10,000 now officially online. I sat down with Matt Tristan, aka Plutus Plumbus, the smart contract developer for USDM. Please make sure to check out that interview. But this is the official information here, all of the metadata, all of the policy IDs, the asset name, and just anything that you need to know surrounding the official token. So make sure to check this out. Don't get taken advantage of, especially because of the fact that this presents an opportunity for scammers to create their own token, given the fact that we operate in a permissionless environment. Jumping over here, right now we can see that the total supply amount currently sits at above 10,000 of the USDM tokens. Taking it a step further, we've got just a handful of wallets here. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different wallets, which now hold USDM, with the largest now holding about 8,500 of those tokens. What's interesting is that we just got the very first ever listing on the Minswap DEX for the ADA/USDM pair. Jumping over, if I head over to the website, which is available at app.minswap.org, as you can see here, we've got ADA/USDM with a total of about 32,000 ADA locked in TVL. Now, it's interesting. The price currently sits right now at about 1.97 ADA. Given the fact that Cardano has seen a pullback just recently of about 15 to 20%, and it's now trading at about 60 cents. So 2 ADA gives us at about $1.20-ish. So keep in mind that right now you would be paying a premium to hold USDM, but we should see the price begin to stabilize as more liquidity comes online. Jumping over into this next tab, I did highlight this before, but I'll quickly just highlight this here again. We have the USDM team now putting out a proposal or a temp check with the Minswap community in order to have liquidity provided from the protocol owned liquidity group, right? Or from the protocol owned liquidity treasury from the Minswap team into the USDM pair. So if you head over to their official website, they've got 4 options. Option number 1 is to provide 125,000 USDM and $125,000 worth of ADA, again, an equivalent amount, followed by option number 2, which is $80,000, followed by option number 3, $65,000, $55,000, and then the last option at $40,000. Scrolling down, we've got a whopping 100% of 58 voters voting to pass this proposal. So it looks like this will be coming on chain. And right now it looks like this is basically a yes, or a majority yes, right? So not a single vote coming in for no, which is extremely reassuring, not just for anybody looking to get access to USDM, but also for the actual Mahen team themselves. Jumping over, in terms of accessibility as well, we've got the team from USDM partnering up with the Genius Yield team. They're an order book style DEX as opposed to an AMM style DEX like we have with Minswap. So with this particular partnership, we're going to see an MMB, or a market maker bot, which will facilitate or make it easier for trades to take place on the official Genius Yield DEX. And I'll be sitting down with Matthew Plomin as well as Dr. Lars this coming Thursday to talk about what this partnership entails. So again, if you have any questions for me, please leave them down below. That'll take us through the first 2 set of updates. Number 1 touching on XE, number 2 touching on USDM. As always, if you do appreciate updates like these, I'd appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. If it's your first time stopping by Dapp Central and you want more content like this, consider subscribing. And last but not least, if you have any questions for me surrounding any of the 2 projects that we've talked about already, or the upcoming 3 projects, then leave a comment down below. Next, I want to talk about the Minswap protocol. So they just released some pretty interesting stats surrounding the growth and utilization of the protocol. If you don't recall, or if you're just not aware, for the longest time, this project was the number 1 in terms of TVL here on Cardano, recently being flipped by Indigo. So as it stands right now, they have the highest TVL for a DEX. Again, not counting Indigo because they're a synthetics protocol, with over $90 million locked. Now, we saw 75% of Cardano DEX volume happening on Minswap the entire course of 2023, again, showing their dominance and strength in this growing ecosystem. To date, they have over 140,000 wallets, which have traded on the platform, and they were awarded the Best DeFi Award at the Cardano Summit for 2 years in a row for 2022 and 2023. Again, on the left-hand side there, we've got the cumulative volume, the protocol-owned liquidity, which is where the proposal for the USDM protocol would be pulling from. And there's additional proposals that I'm going to be highlighting here, which will be pulling from the POL, or protocol owned liquidity. Next, we've got over 285 million of the circulating supply of the Mint token, their governance token, which has been officially staked. And we've got over 1 billion, which is about 36% of the total token supply, which is now circulating. Jumping over into this next piece here, we recently had the conclusion of a DAO governance based vote. And if I jump over to their governance portal, I want to quickly touch on exactly what has changed. So the proposal here was to restructure how proposals are brought on chain. I just showed you guys there the temp check process for USDM. That's currently what they have to undergo now before they're actually brought on chain for the community to vote on. Number two, this proposal would be restructuring the rules around the quorum, or the minimum amount of votes required before an actual proposal is deemed as final or appropriate to be enacted. And then number three, this will be dealing with community managers, or CMs, and their compensation as well as their responsibilities. You can imagine that it's their job to, number one, keep the community updated, but then number two, just make sure that everything is running smoothly, right? And that nobody's feeling like they're not being heard when it comes to the Minswap community. So this vote kicked off on February 28th, ended on March 5th. We saw the minimum quorum being 40 million tokens, and we had about 3 times that, in which we saw about 150 million tokens coming into vote. Of course, a whopping 99% majority voting to pass this proposal. So we'll have some updates coming out surrounding community managers and their payment, as well as how proposals are brought on chain for the Minswap protocol. Jumping over, we've got an additional proposal surrounding the min/ADA in the protocol-owned liquidity being provided as liquidity into the LendFi V2 platform. I just interviewed Montes from the LendFi team, a lending and borrowing protocol building here on Cardano. They just released V2, bringing forth pooled lending in addition to their peer-to-peer lending, which was styled as V1. So we had 4 options here. Option 1 was to add 100K's worth of ADA and 100K's worth of min into the LendFi pool. And again, that would be earning them interest or a yield. Option number 2 was 100K ADA and 50K ADA's worth of min. Option number 3 was 50K ADA and 50K ADA's worth of min. And then number 4 was to not remove any liquidity and to not add any more than the Minswap Labs team has already added to that platform. So backing up just a little bit here, the Minswap Labs team, which is not necessarily the Minswap DAO, which they don't own any of the POL. Again, this is just the labs. They went ahead and provided their own liquidity to the platform. And what the team was proposing here, or what the DAO was proposing, was for the POL, or the protocol owned liquidity, to also go towards that as well. So jumping over here, unfortunate news, this particular vote did not pass. We have option 4 with the majority here, and it was somewhat of a tight vote here with 53%. And then we had in number 2, or coming in as the running up option, the 100K and 100K ADA's worth of min being added to the liquidity. So one thing to keep in mind here that it states is that the risk that this also poses, it allows for people to basically long min or long ADA using the liquidity that the team would be putting up, in which it states that the more borrowable ADA in the min/ADA pool that the team would deposit, or the DAO would deposit, the easier it would be to leverage long min. And then alternatively, the more borrowable min that the team or the DAO would deposit, the easier it would be to leverage short min. So again, this would basically make the price susceptible to huge fluctuations, either to the upside or the downside, depending on how much liquidity would be added to LendFi. So keep that in mind. Again, some of the positives and negatives. And it looks like, again, that the team will not be moving forward with this, given the fact that this particular proposal has not been approved. Okay, jumping over, we do have a quick update surrounding yield farms needing to be rebalanced. This will be taking place on March 7th at 9 a.m. UTC. I'll leave the link to this down below, but this breaks down some of the farms which will be rebalanced. So depending on how much liquidity you're providing, you might want to jump in and just check this out, because again, some of those numbers in terms of the ADA, the min, or the token that you're actually providing liquidity for may be getting changed. So the pools impacted are the ADA min, ADA WMT, ADA LendFi, ADA AGIX, and ADA NTX. That'll do it there for that particular update surrounding everything Minswap. Moving over, next, I want to quickly talk about Eternl. So they've just gone ahead and released or deployed version 1.12.0. This is a huge update, bringing faster syncing, meaning that you're able to quickly get access to all the on-chain data through the Eternl wallet, as well as better performance We've also got the inception of the Eternl guard, which provides scam warnings in order to keep users safe. This reminds me of the Cardano shield, which I had Adam from the official Giro team on the channel to talk about some of the benefits that provides. So really interesting to see that more wallets are now beginning to take security into their own hands, providing more features to safeguard users' assets. We've also got updates for the Sancho Net. So support for Sancho Net, the test net right now for playing around with governance or SIP number 1694 being added to the Eternl wallet, as well as a new SIP30 connector. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, SIP30 is dealing with web page-based communications and allowing for dApps to interface directly with Cardano wallets. So again, making things much easier and much more seamless. Last but not least, there's been fixes for a lot of bugs and UI updates. Moving over, the team isn't done. They've also introduced a brand new version of Eternl, and this is Eternl Beta. So this is a brand new browser-based extension used for testing upcoming features and changes, as well as collecting feedback. If I jump over to the official Google Chrome store, I'll leave the link to this down below, but we've got the official Eternl Beta right now with over 134 users and no ratings just yet. But again, breaking down some of the additional features and putting those aside into a brand new ecosystem or to a brand new extension for the community to check out. Jumping over, I want to quickly touch on the SmartPlaces platform. So Minswap having a role here. They're also going to be hosting the SmartPlaces team. And let me maybe just back up here and explain what SmartPlaces is. So if it's your first time hearing about SmartPlaces, they're a AI/AR or augmented reality social fi platform building on Cardano, which basically has a connect to earn model, which allows for you to connect and create social media and just basically engage on different land plots in order to earn their smart points. But they're going to be launching their SPX token in addition to their smart points. So interacting directly on the app, utilizing their land plots, which were minted about 2 years ago. They've got, I think, over 23,000 NFTs minted. You're now able to earn those smart points, but now you can actually get their own governance token. So we're going to see a brand new SPX launch with the Minswap team utilizing their launch bowl. The last team that used this launch bowl feature was the Fluid Tokens team, and they were able to raise, I believe it was over $1 to $2 million in just a couple of hours. So extremely positive news here, and I wanted to quickly close out on that. Last but not least, the SmartPlaces team has an airdrop in order to just kind of spread the word and grow their community by word of mouth. So you can sign up for the referral program if you're a land plot owner or a pioneer. Depending on how many land plots you own, you can engage in the airdrop in order to earn even more tokens. The very last thing I want to mention is the fact that I did sit down with Bjorn Heinze, who is the CEO and co-founder of the SmartPlaces protocol, to highlight everything from A to Z as to what they are, their token launch, their partners, and their roadmap. So stay tuned for that. That'll be dropping here within the next day. But as always, if you found any portion of today's video to be helpful, I would really appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. If it's your first time stopping by and you want more content like this highlighting everything going on in Cardano, consider subscribing. And last but not least, if you have any questions for me surrounding anything I've chatted about, then leave a comment down below. That said, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.